Is it time to pivot? Pivot!
Here we go. Pivot. 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 Pivot.
Sometimes in life, we think we know the route, we think we know the plan, but really God has a different direction for us. Sometimes the best thing we can do is shift our mindset, shift our direction towards a better route for our lives. Welcome to Motivational Mondays with your host, Red. I hope this uplifts, inspires, and transforms you to live better than best. Now, let's dive in. What's up, family? I'm Red, your host and mindset coach. I want to welcome you to the Better Than Best Academy, a community of champions committed to getting better together as we continue to see ourselves the way God wants to see us, pushing past limited mindsets and pursuing the higher calling and purpose on our lives. If that is something you want to join, then please smash that subscribe button, give this video a like, comment below, do all the things to join this community so together we can live the better than best lifestyle. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify or anywhere you listen to podcasts, please take the 5-10 seconds it takes, leave a review. And share this with another champion so together we can grow and together we can be better and raise the bar and raise the standard for what it is to live this called and purpose-filled life. Now, let me set the scene for today's episode. The year is 2008. I'm a sophomore in high school, and I believe in the gospel of young money, YOLO. Okay, a bit dramatic, but it was then that I decided that I was going to be a famous, dope, fresh, fly rapper. I know it sounds ridiculous to say nowadays, but I stuck with it, unlike a lot of the SoundCloud rappers that were around me at the time. I even rapped in some big and small shows. You may see a clip here. Ooh. I eventually turned into a Christian rapper when I was saved, and then I even got to open up for Colton Dixon, who was on American Idol, for those that may not know. And no, that's not a humble flex or anything, but I say that I was really passionate about rapping at one point. And then in 2017, God guided me to a pivot to become a worship drummer for our church, and which I'm still very involved with and very passionate about today, as well as I started this podcast kind of around that same time. But then in 2020, I became a stay-at-home dad. I transitioned out of the video editing job that I was working at for the last 4 years, and I became a stay-at-home dad. And when I thought it was time to get back into the working side hustle game and help other people side hustle through affiliate marketing, finally I felt like the God was helping me see that the pivot was to help people see themselves the way that God sees them. So now, as a business mindset coach and consultant, I help new and inspiring Christian entrepreneurs overcome their limiting mindset and discover their purpose and calling. Then guide them on a way to find who their product and service can truly help. Now, what was all this oversharing and kind of promoting my new business for? It really does have a purpose, so stay with me. I'm not here trying to sell you something. I'm really here to try to provide you some value. And really, the truth is, with that story, I want you to see that many times in my life, I've took a pivot. I've took a shift. I've took a change, and God's kind of steered my path in a different direction. And I say that because there's a power in this pivot. And I know if you grew up watching Friends, you can't hear the word pivot without hearing Ross screaming it with a couch in his hand, trying to climb up an apartment staircase. I don't know if you've been there trying to move into an apartment, especially one that's upstairs without a elevator. It's rough. So we can all experience that sometimes pivots can be rough. But pivot means to make a turn as a swivel, is a quick turn, a transition. Sometimes I see it as a juke or even an audible for another sports reference because it happens so fast. Pivoting is a sudden shift in strategy to assure successful execution. Healthy organizations model the necessity of pivoting to maintain growth and a competitive advantage in their industry. See, I believe the most successful people in life know the power of the pivot. They are always researching the market. They're always adjusting, always growing, and the pivot is necessary and essential for this growth. Yes, being planted in God's house and remaining faithful to what you are called to do is essential for your future and growth, but sometimes you will be guided to make a pivot, to make a change, to grow outside of your current capacity, your current capabilities, into something that may be uncomfortable, but definitely God inspired and God orchestrated. With that said, I want to give you 3 ways that we can pivot to see a better outcome for our lives and our businesses. And the first way to pivot is we must pivot our perspective. This is the best place to start because oftentimes we can only see our lives in a mirror. It's flipped. And we can't see our blind spots. Like, I can't see my back. I really hope I don't need to shave that. Ugh. Anyways, that was a bit TMI, but I mean, like, we can't see our blind spots. We can't see ourselves in a perspective that the world sees us. We only see the flipped, mirrored version. This is why it's essential that we need the right mentors or coaches or real friends in our lives to guide us and show us the areas of our life that need a pivot or a change. We even need these people in our lives to call out the greatness because we have trouble seeing that. I don't know about you, but I can be one of my hardest critics. So I need those people in my life that are not only going to show me my blind spots and my weaknesses, but they're going to point out my strengths. They're going to call out the greatness in me because sometimes I think what I'm doing isn't that great, to be honest. Just keeping it 100% transparent with you guys that I can relate. If that's you, comment below. Do you ever feel like you're not as great as the people around you say you are? Well, I want to encourage you, friend, that you are. And listen to those positive, uplifting voices in your life. Listen to me, because I want to be that positive, uplifting voice in your life. But we must surround ourselves with people that are going to show us the things that we can't say. We must pivot our perspective. And then the second way is you must pivot your position. I look at it again with the sports or weightlifting training analogy. So if you're playing baseball, right, and you are built, like your body and your skill set is built to play middle infield, that means shortstop or second baseman. That was me. What if you're built for that? You're smaller, you're quicker, you're really good with your fast twitch muscles and your hand-eye coordination. What if instead of playing that perfect position, you were in the outfield, where if you were like me, my arm strength was not great. I could not throw that far. Like, yes, I was quick and I was small and I could chase down ground balls or short pop flies, whatever it may be, but I was not good at long throws. So if that's the case, why would I put myself in outfield when I was intended for middle infield? Or just like when you're working out, you wouldn't go into your gym or your home gym for that matter, put 400 pounds on the bar and the squat rack and get under it with the worst form ever. You wouldn't do that. You would position yourself for success. You would position yourself not to fail. So I want to encourage you, pivot your position. Don't set yourself up for failure by trying to do things that you aren't called to do. I'm not saying don't try to grow and don't do uncomfortable things, but don't go chasing dreams that you aren't called to live. If you can't sing, don't try to sing. Don't go for The Voice or American Idol. Do what you're great at. Like me, I'm not a great singer, but I am a really solid drummer. And I'm really grateful for those talents and abilities. And I'm really great at speaking on camera. So you wouldn't see me go try to sing, or you wouldn't see me go try to work on a car because I'm not great at those things. So you must pivot your position. So we have pivot perspective, pivot your position. And the third and final pivot is pivot your priorities. What are you spending your time on? Do you have any systems in place? What are they? See, oftentimes we get so caught up in the daily mundane life task, we forget to do the tasks that get us closer to the dreams and the goals and the calling on our life. We will spend time consuming social media, scrolling through the phone, wasting hours on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, but we're not contributing. We're not adding value to our communities, and we're not trying to grow our businesses if that's our route. We are spending time doing tasks that aren't generating income. They're not generating better results and outcomes for what we need in our goals and our dreams. So we must pivot our priorities. And I want to encourage you with this too. Listen, friend, I want to encourage you with this. If you can't sustain your current schedule now, what makes you think that you can sustain it when you grow, when your influence grows, when your business grows? If you can't sustain your current schedule, I want to encourage you with saying the power of no. Now, repeat after me. Say, no, I can't do this. Say it again. No, I'm not available today. Wow. Isn't there so much freedom in that, friend? Know and own the power of your no so you can own the power of your yes. And you must be so able to learn that art of no. Learn the art of focus and priorities. Do the task and the things that matter most. You will generate the outcomes you want long term. Now, in closing, don't be afraid of the pivot. It's that simple. Don't be afraid of the pivot. Don't be afraid of testing and tweaking and modifying, because you're in good company. Some of the greatest companies and the greatest people in life, they always are developing themselves. And again, if you want to join this community of champions that are always pivoting, always learning and growing, then please click the link in the description or the show notes or the comments. Even send me a DM if you're really passionate about wanting to join this community of champions. It's my Facebook group and it's free to join, and it's a ton of value, and there's a ton of awesome opportunities to network with other people just like you. So get into that. I really encourage you that, because we're building an amazing community and I want you to be a part of it. But as always, I'm praying for you, friend. I love you. Now let's go live better than best as we conquer this week.